It's a Philippines field of dreams, and they have come from all over the world. The four-time winners with their mighty reps, the young guns shooting up the world rankings, the chasing pack, the bulldog, the mad dog, the big dog, the nice man from Canada. Top 5 the last 2 years. And this man. For the last 6 years he's been on the podium but never the winner. This time will we see the mountain peak mano a mano in Manila. It's the grand final of the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man.
The Philippines and Iceland. Two volatile volcanic landscapes, united by nature's unrelenting pressure and power. One is a land waiting to crown this year's world's strongest man. The other is home to a Viking who has faced the most intense expectation of victory. Hafthor Julius Bjornsson, from a land of heroes that produced 8 titles in 12 glorious years.
I am the strongest! I am the Viking!
The hunger for more Icelandic victories, ravenous. Bjornsson was seen as the new hope who would end the title famine and realign the balance of Viking power. But for over half a decade, the dark ash clouds of doubt have engulfed and choked the Icelandic giant. Will he ever clear his throat and let out a roar of victory? And when you are a champion in waiting for that long, other contenders will arrive. A new wave of strongmen has arisen and now threatens the title Bjornsson craves. 2 four-time champions have also advanced to the grand final. Zydrunas Savickas and Brian Shaw, both carrying the burden of trying to win a record equaling 5th title. A seismic shift in the strongman landscape now hangs in the balance as we focus on Manila and the grand final of World's Strongest Man.
Well, joining us now, Mr. Eddie Hall, for the last day, World's Strongest Man. How do you feel about that, Eddie?
I'll be honest, it hurts, but I'm here, I'm enjoying myself, and I cannot wait to shake the hand of the winner.
Might just be Hafthor Bjornsson. Wouldn't that be a moment? Eddie, what can you tell us about the kind of pressure that Hafthor's living under?
Geez, I real feel for Hafthor. The pressure's going to be under. He's been on the podium 6 times. When I came into World's Strongest Man, I had the world on my shoulders. When I won it, walked off, I felt 2-3 inches taller. Just all that pressure went. And
one man who's always there, or seems to be, Brian Shaw. He'd won in 2 in a row before you took the title off him just last year. Is he going to be among the contenders this time?
100%. Brian's coming in. He looks comfortable, and more importantly, he looks confident.
Well, enough of us yakking. Let's get straight over to the frame carry. Michelle Ackley is there now.
Thanks, guys. Right, now we have an explosive event to get things started. It's the frame carry, where our athletes have to carry these 370-kilogram frames along a 30-metre course. Guys, you better hold on to your sofas, because it's about to get very real.
And holding onto their lip mics as the battle begins, it's Colin Bryce and Danny Wallace.
Lip mics are ready, James. It is the frame carry, 60 seconds, 30 metres, and 370 kilograms.
In lane number 1.
Can't wait for this grand final. And Big Z from Lithuania aiming to become, well, the oldest World's Strongest Man in history. Going up against this character, and he's a huge character, Lissis from the US. And of course, what would it be without Hafthor Bjornsson, always the bridesmaid? Will he be a bride? A giant bride. Of course, famous for playing the Mountain in Game of Thrones.
In lane number 4, representing the United States.
And a regular contender, 4-time World's Strongest Man, Brian Shaw. This is his 10th World's Strongest Man grand final. It's a record.
representing Poland.
Always exciting. Kieliszkowski. A long line of extraordinary Polish strongmen.
Get set!
My goodness, what a lineup. And there is the 4 times World's Strongest Man winner, Magnus Ver, getting them underway. It's Kieliszkowski closest to us, the Pole who's quickest.
Well, Big Z struggling. The far end. Kieliszkowski turns. It's all about the grip and the balance. You don't want these things hitting the ground. It'll really slow you up. Nothing like that's going to happen to Kieliszkowski. Look at this.
Oh, brilliant there. Under 20 seconds, and Shaw also in one motion. He celebrates like he's won it as he sees Bjornsson go down.
Well, Bjornsson has to get the whole implement across the line. He's managed that. This is a disaster, though, for Big Z.
And surprisingly, Lissus as well, struggling with his grip. He's not going to finish.
Well, Kieliszkowski leading with the frame carry, 18.93 seconds.
I mean, it's just so heavy. They're right on the limit of being able to carry this the whole way. And if your grip fatigues, and you can tear your hands up.
Well, first up, Caron. He's finished 5th a couple of times. He's got it all to prove. He'll want these 10 points.
In lane number 2, representing
Belshak, bit of an underperformer when it comes to the grand finals. So again, with it all to prove.
In lane number 3,
well, Johan Els. And this is extraordinary. This is the first time he's made it to the grand final.
In lane number 4,
and OB, Robert Oberst. Now, he's not been here for a few years, since 2013. And the Georgian bull, Janashia, came 4th a couple of years ago. This is his 3rd time here in the grand final. Yes. So again, those 10 points up for grabs.
It's a tricky one to call. Let's see how they get underway. My goodness, it's Johan Els who started quickest, but he goes down. They all go down.
They're dropping like flies, apart from Georgia's Janashia. A quick turn.
He's even quicker than Kieliszkowski was at the halfway. Remember, it was 19 seconds and change for the pole.
Now look at this again. The whole implement must cross the line. Hasn't done that yet.
Oh, he's cut his hands up a bit. Just another foot. Come on, Konstantin.
Struggling now, just dragging it across.
He's done it.
That counts. Well, Oberst, Els, looking to be giving up.
You suddenly realise how heavy this is. The first heat just was stacked with top guys. Oberst is looking at his hand, and Caron. I think we're going to see some damage to the palms of these hands, which isn't good for 5 more events to come.
Well, Caron giving it his all, but that'll do. And this event, this early event, really taking it out on everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Janashia
representing the Republic of Georgia,
he takes 3rd, but Kieliszkowski takes the event.
Some early surprises then in the frame carry as Kieliszkowski picks up the maximum 10 points, and Brian Shaw delighted not just to place 2nd, but the Janashia beat Bjornsson to 3rd place. It's a thrilling start to what promises to be an epic grand final this year. Time next for our athletes to gear up for event 2, the 380 kilogram Jeepney deadlift. That's coming up on World's Strongest Man. Welcome back to the Philippines, the sensational backdrop to the always spectacular World's Strongest Man Grand Final. On to event 2 now. Michelle is with Eddie in Manila.
Thanks, James. Right now, it's on to the Jeepney deadlift, where these 380 kilogram Jeepneys are attached to these frames, and our athletes have to lift them as many times as possible in 60 seconds. Eddie, 380 kilograms, I mean, that is an intense weight, isn't it?
380 kilograms is a lot of weight, but with the frame as well, you're fighting against it. You're pulling towards or away from you. It makes it a lot harder.
What would you say are the strong contenders in this event?
Of course, Brian, 4, JF Caron, Janashia. There's some good deadlifters in this group.
Well, let's see how the guys get on. Over to the commentary team.
Picking up the action at Rizal Park, it is Colin Bryce and Danny Wallace.
Well, thank you very much. The deadlift then, very simple. How many times can you lift one of these? You've got 60 seconds. and they weigh about as much as a mature and well-fed stallion, or just a Jeep. Oberst, well, he is currently in 4th. He didn't manage any lifts. Big Z, though, managed 3, taking him to 3rd. 2nd place, Johan Else managed 5. Really took it out of him, though. And currently in the lead, Belshak with a whopping 6.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the right, representing the United States.
Next up then, Martins Lissis. Always popular with the crowd. Real character, huge confidence.
Representing Canada,
And JF Caron, nice guy. Suffered though in the frame carry, didn't he? We'll see what happened to his hand, but also Colin suffered earlier in the competition.
Yeah, the circle of strength. He did a few steps and then something went pop in his quad. Somehow managed to tough it out though. Fascinating to see what he can do now.
Well, they're off. 6 to beat.
Oh, Caron wasting no time. On to 3.
Well, this is remarkable from both men.
Well, this has managed to catch Caron just about. And both men are going to go ahead of 6. Surely.
Still more or less 35 seconds to go. Caron on 8. Lissis as well.
Still grinding them out. Lissis looks like he's struggling a little bit more now. Both men on 9, double figures. He must be going through some serious pain, Caron, after that injury. This is not easy.
Well, 15 seconds still left. Both men neck and neck.
Gives it a wee tug there, Lissis, but I don't think it's going to move again. And Caron goes off into the lead.
Well, Caron really wants this. And Lissis will let him have it. So Caron, 11 reps. Just extraordinary when you think about everything he's been through.
Very much the quiet man of strongman, but 2 5th places in the WSM Grand Final. Both of these men won on the podium. And there's some nervous favourites watching on.
Well, currently second with a brilliant 10 reps, Lissis. Both men setting out their stall nice and early, sending a message to the next 4 competitors, including Hafthor there. You're right, Colin, did look cagey.
Cagey indeed. He's up against Janasian. That's the man refereeing, Magnus Fem Magnusson, 4 times world's strongest man.
And an Icelander, of course.
Yes, he is. Refereeing Janasian. And the other man, the Icelander, the Mountain. But don't expect any free reps from him because he's a very strict referee.
This is not Eurovision. It won't help him, but he will feel the pressure of Icelandic history.
2 4 times champions. John Paul Sigmarsson, for some, the greatest ever.
I want to be the king of the competition, always.
I am the strongest! I am the Viking!
Then it moved on to Maggie Vare. His period in the 90s, a different character, an incredible sportsman, 4 titles as well. 8 titles in 12 years for a country with barely more people than Coventry.
Yes, that's most of the country there. All of Iceland came over. So we start 11 to beat. Both men. Powerful quick start.
Well, Bjornsson just almost leaning back into it. His feet are right under the bar. And that big body weight of his just helping him haul this up. On 5 reps already. Janasia dealing with the pain of his hands.
Absolutely, that frame carry will have taken it out of him, those cuts on his hand. Bjornsson, who's watching from the side, knows exactly what he has to do and how to do it. 10 reps already.
Looking very comfortable indeed. Just over 20 seconds to go. Bjornsson could do 13-14 here if he digs in.
Well, there you go. He's on 11. This to take it.
Wasn't easy, that was a grinder. Maybe one more. Janashia, he's hurting now.
So Bjornsson is in the lead currently.
He's done.
Enough's enough for Bjornsson. 12, well he did enough, didn't he?
Absolutely. Certainly will put the pressure on Brian Shaw, who's in the next group along with Kieliszkowski. Janashia's 7 reps through the pain, not bad.
Well, a great performance there from Bjornsson. You have to wonder, though, how is Brian Shaw, for example, going to answer that?
Well, if we look at them, Janashia much further over the bar, while as Bjornsson leaning right back. Really good use of his body weight, using the contraption well. I mean, it's not a conventional deadlift this at all.
Kieliszkowski then. 3 times Poland's strongest man. Very exciting contender. Going up against, well, an old rival of Bjornsson, Brian Shaw. He's won it 4 times already. He wants a record equaling 5th. He might just do it.
It means a lot to me. I pour so much of myself into my training and competing. Coming off 2017, there was some good things. There was some things that I messed up, and it's not always going to play out the way that you think it's going to play out, and you have to battle some adversity. You have to overcome different challenges, and that's part of the sport. So when it doesn't work out, when I don't win, you have to take a step back, and you have to analyze that performance and say, how can I get better? And then just come back better.
Not sure why everyone was interviewed naked this year.
I kind of like it.
Well, Shaw then, straight off the bat.
12 reps to beat for Big Shaw. Oh, he's even quicker than Hafthor was. Kieliszkowski, though, struggling heavily. This is his Achilles heel, no doubt.
Well, Shaw watching Bjornsson as keenly as Bjornsson was watching everyone else.
Again, using his body weight well. He's over 200 kilograms, Shaw. He's the heaviest man in the entire contest.
25 seconds left to go. This was more or less where Bjornsson was.
Yes, indeed. 2 reps to tie, 3 to beat. Oh, there's 11. I don't think he's going to beat him. Maybe he'll tie, though.
Kieliszkowski's had enough. He's not happy. But come on, what do you got, Brian?
Time's ticking, 5, 4, 3. Oh!
Well, he gets it at the very, very last 100th of a second, it seemed. We will check all that. But an amazing performance there from Brian Shaw. Kept it in reserve, didn't he? And you got to feel for Kieliszkowski. Yeah, very disappointed.
Ladies and gentlemen, tied for first after the deadlift 4 reps. Representing Iceland, Hafthor Julius Bjornsson.
Well, Bjornsson and Shaw split the points. Both tied for first after that last second burst from Brian Shaw.
You know they counted that last. Did they? Yeah. So let's get in there. It's 12-12.
But not without controversy, because it seems Hafthor and his team are launching an official protest. Now, when the referee shouts down, that's when the rep is given. You heard it there. Down, then the whistle. So that rep does count. And Brian can't really believe this is happening. His team are very upset as well. Hafthor well within his rights to do this. It's a bit like history repeating itself. He did do this last year as well.
Probably not going to want to do it together, is it?
So everyone waiting. The referees convene. And it does count. It's the news that will have to be delivered to Hafthor. I'm not doing it. But for Brian's take, Michelle's with him now.
Brian, 12 deadlifts, tie for first place, which is fantastic. But from my understanding, there does seem to be some kind of dispute on Thor's side. Explain what's going on.
I think he's trying to dispute my last rep. You know, I definitely waited till the last second giving myself a little bit of rest, and I knew that I would get it in before the whistle, and I did. I got the down call before the whistle blew. I really don't know why there's any dispute, honestly. I don't know why we can't just compete and, you know, we drew, can't shake hands. I don't understand that.
Well, Hap Thors, I'm willing to talk to the cameras right now. So Magnus, as someone who knows him well and as head of the referees, what exactly was his complaint?
Well, he thought Brian didn't finish his last lift within the time limit. It was close, but he got it in there.
You're absolutely sure of that?
All of our referees are sure about that.
Okay. Eddie, you were on the receiving end of one of Hap Thors' complaints last year in the final, famously so. What do you make of this?
Same again as last year. He's brought this discrepancy up. The officials have made a decision. He's just wasting energy, mentally and physically. If it was me, I would just forget about it and concentrate on the next event.
Confirmation then of the result for event 2. Bjornsson and Big Brian both on 12 reps, sharing the win, taking 9.5 points each as a result. Caron and Lisis the only men to come close, with Kieliszkowski tied in 8th in what is always his worst event. With 2 events gone now, Shaw leads by 2 points ahead of the mountain. Janashia now just a point in front of Caron and Lisis. The bigger surprise, Big Z, all the way down in 10th. With tensions running high now in the strongman camp, our next event should be extra tasty. It's the overhead for maximum weight, and with so many epic pressers assembled here, we're surely set for something momentous. That's coming up on the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man. Welcome back, everyone, to World's Strongest Man, the grand final. A little bit of Manila ice there at the end of event 2, with Thor contesting one of Brian Shaw's reps on the deadlift. Eddie Hall, as we move on to the max overhead, what constitutes a good rep here?
So the guys have got to grab the bar, get it to the chest by whatever means possible, push it above the head, wait for the referee's down signal. That's a good lift.
Sounds easy, but the starting weight here is 175 kilos, which is?
Yours truly.
Wow, so they have to start off by lifting at Eddie Hall overhead, and that's just the beginning. The weights go up and up and up.
Yeah, this is last man standing. The weights will just increase, 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 till one man is the winner.
We have a great field of pressers here. Who do you see taking the points?
Geez, that's a tough question. For Brian, Lisis, Janashia, Matthias, any of those guys could win this event. But one thing's for sure, it's going to define the men from the boys.
Excellent. Time for a bit of matter over mind then. Event 3, over to our commentators.
Well, thank you, James. And yes, it is the max overhead. It starts at 175 kilos, just gets heavier and heavier. And already eliminated, you can see at the bottom there, Else and Janashia. Jeff Caron managed 175, but pulled himself out. Robert Oberst took things further, went up to the next weight of 190, did so successfully.
Still warming up! Still warming up!
Still warming up, he says. Zaviskus, also successful, a little unsteady on his feet. Kieliszkowski, who's been a bit pensive, also 190. And that look says it all, he's here. Beljak was next, 190. Then it was the turn of Lisis. Everyone else was using a push press technique, but watch this. The only guy who uses a split jerk and made the grade. So that's where we are, but where are we going?
For Martins Lisis. Ladies and gentlemen, representing the United States of
well, we turn to Brian Shaw.
Strongest man champion, Brian
For his
Shaw.
attempts at 190.
Now, what makes this just so difficult is A, the thickness of the bar, and B, the fact that it's so incredibly stiff. It's quite different from an Olympic weightlifting situation. Now he's got it to his shoulders.
Nails it. Using his belly there as well, his power belly. That can be your hashtag for today. 190.
Very useful, the power belly in this kind of event. Use as a little shelf on the way up. Yeah, once it was to the shoulders, no problem for him.
Well, Bjornsson there, passing Shaw. Not the best of friends right now. Friends and family, though, big motivator for Bjornsson.
What keeps me mostly motivated, you know, is 100% my family, friends that are with me in my journey, that support me and believe in me. It's been a long journey. Each year has been a battle. This year I'm definitely in my best shape ever. I definitely want to win. I come into each year trying to be better, trying to improve myself, and when it's game time, it's no more friendship. It's just business.
Wow. There's no doubting that Bjornsson wants this, probably more than anyone. The cracks have been starting to show, courtesy of that man there.
Well, this is only just above body weight, but what a body weight he's got. 190 kilos, presses it. Wow.
Well, he's done it.
That was a statement of intent there. Barely used his legs, if at all.
Sure. Not happy.
Let's look at this again. So much pressing power, just a little stumble forward. Got to get your feet in line. Just for a split second. That was good.
So a new weight then. Things are getting pretty serious. 200 kg.
And we're talking 32 stone, 440 pounds. This is big stuff.
And an awkward tent. Like a very awkward wedding.
It is indeed. Now, Big OB. First man at 200.
Shifts it up from the belly.
If he can get it to his shoulders, I'm sure he'll press it.
Well, here we go. He's not finished yet.
His feet were out of line. Didn't hit it from a stable base.
Well, that's him eliminated from this event. Just couldn't quite get the balance right.
Yeah, it's kind of way if he took out the racks in the gym, easy. Having to clean it like that, all that energy expelled.
On to Kieliszkowski then, for his attempt at 200 kg.
Well, when it gets this heavy, you need a little bit of weightlifting technique. He will use his legs better. He's well stable.
Look at that, great form. I think we're seeing a man growing in confidence.
Here, here, absolutely. That was much better than his 190. He was balanced, hit it at just the right time.
I think I saw his first ever smile there as well.
You're right.
Burst
you know.
here on Channel 5.
Well, I mean, Oberst is a great presser. You've seen one of the best in the world go down, and he's just beaten him easily.
On then to Big Z. Fantastic presser as well. Well, maybe I spoke too soon there. I mean, he is a fantastic presser.
He is the greatest of all time at pressing, but there was something wrong earlier on. Couldn't quite tell what it was, but now we see he's got a bicep injury.
Oh, that's a real shame and a surprise. Well, on to Belshak then. That's how I warm up. You need your weightlifting techniques here. There's his girlfriend.
Very explosive character. If he can get it to his shoulders quick enough, without burning too much energy, he'll hit it.
Well, something was off there.
It's just really tricky to get this bar to your shoulders. It's just nothing like a normal gym bar. It's considerably heavier, much thicker. It doesn't bend at all. There's no give.
There's a lot more give in Belshak there.
Yes, indeed, yeah. Big Z. Oh, he's out.
He's had to withdraw. On to Lissis then, for his attempt at 200. We've seen him use the split jerk. It's up to the shoulders.
Yeah, it's just about quick enough. Hopefully he's got the energy.
Oh. He can still do this.
Yes!
Look at that. Well, his feet had to be in line. He's got the nod, he's done it.
Yes, he got it there. Successful lift. It ain't the prettiest. Let's have a look again. And this is the second time he hit it. That was it, just enough there. He actually held it twice for a momentary pause. That's all he needed.
So Brian Shaw, full-time world's strongest man, using that power belly.
Look how inflexible he is. 200 kilos, doesn't even touch his shoulders. He's so tight in the arms. Oof!
Couldn't quite manage it. Was very composed. Just didn't have that final burst.
Well, he's got time to have a second hit. If the referee's happy that he's under control, obviously Magnus Fair is. Oh, boy, does he need this now. He's leading the competition.
And that's that. Well, he is in the lead, as you say. He won't be taking this event.
Now he could end up sharing points with a lot of men. Didn't even get close.
Brian Shaw in hiding from the mighty Iceland contingent.
Well, it's not the prettiest. He's surely not going to just press this. Oh, wow!
Wow, he is. Wow.
That certainly looked like the strongest man in the world dealing with 200 kilos. Wow.
We were worried about the strain that the events earlier were taking on this guy. Seems he wasn't.
Good reply. Yes, well said, Danny. Last year he seemed to crumble after he had a call go against him, but this year he stepped up. Good for him.
So let's go heavier, shall we?
Just 205 kilos, only 5 kilos of increase. It's not a bad call. I think all these men were pretty close to the limit, except maybe Hafthor.
Kiediskovsky then, attempting 205 kg.
To the shoulders quick enough. I think he's got a shot of this.
He'd have lost energy from earlier. That's a shame.
Yeah, he's not going to do that again. Little smile says it all. 2 smiles in a day.
Nope. Well, here's Lissis. And there's his girlfriend, Rebecca Rowley.
Attack it, let's go!
Attack it, let's go. Sounds very much like my wife. But look at this, he is attacking it.
A lot of energy to get that to his shoulders, though. He's pressing down in his windpipe.
Has he got it in him? Not this time.
Now, if he wasn't careful there, he wouldn't be standing much longer. And that weight sits like that. It's the lights turn out pretty quick.
Perhaps he thought she'd said attack it, then let go. Back to Thor then. Working up the crowd. And this is for the win.
Yeah, he's last man standing. The Icelandic ear wiggling gets you going. Oh, that's bad news right there. Energy will be seeping out of him.
What have you got, Thor? Do you have enough? Yes, he does. Absolutely stunning there from Hafthor Bjornsson. Oh, he'll be enjoying this. The winner of the max overhead. And he deserves it. They know it.
Representing Iceland, Hafthor.
She's delighted.
Bjornsson.
He's certainly got a lot of fans here. Now let's take another look at that winning lift before we have a word with our winner here in the overhead. And the one problem I noticed is he actually steps forward as he goes overhead. Luckily, he got it back in line.
Thor, incredible. What was going through your mind when you got that bar up ready to push?
I mean, having my family here screaming and supporting me every year here, it's a huge motivation for me, and that gave me the extra push to finish that lift.
How difficult was it for you to move your mind past the business with the rep on the deadlift? Was that a hard thing for you to clear?
No. It's just something that comes with the game, you know. We are all here to win. It sometimes gets heated in the game, but I just came into this event fully focused and positive and finished it strong.
Well done, Matt. Congratulations.
Thank you.
This time he's a Thor winner. Not only does he take a clear 10 points for the victory, but Shaw's finish, tying for fourth with Belshak, Obi and C, means the American gets just 5.5 points. And that means we have a new leader. At the midpoint of this grand final, Thor moving 2.5 points clear of Brian Shaw. Lisis is now in third, with Kieliszkowski half a point behind as the top four begin to pull away from the rest of the pack. Well, next up, it's a strongman classic, as our 10 contenders take on a 28-ton metal monster. It's the bus pull, as the grand final continues here in the Philippines. Welcome back, everybody. Well, the action moves now to the leafy surroundings of the University of the Philippines here in Manila. Eddie, time for a quick recap midway through the grand final. First off, the frame carry was the first event. What impressed you there?
Maciej Kieliszkowski absolutely nailed everybody, and then Brian in second, who seemed to be really happy with that.
In the next event, it was the deadlift. Thor put in 12 reps and then was upset to see Brian doing 12 himself, even questioning the validity of that final rep.
Yeah, well, you know, the officials looked back, it was a good rep, and he moved on to the next event, the overhead, and he smashed it. He put everything behind him, he put the past in the past, and he concentrated on what he needed to do, and that's win.
The plot thickens. Well, let's get straight away off to event 4, which is the bus pull, and Michelle is there now.
Thanks, James. Now it's time for this eye-popping extravaganza, the bus pull, where our athletes have to pull an immense 28 tons of bus down this 25-metre track. Even the world's best bus pullers, which we have here today, are going to find this a challenge. Let's head over to our commentators.
And gearing up down at the university are Colin and Danny.
Well, thank you. And it is quite the challenge, as it should be in the grand final. 60 seconds, 25 metres, and 28 tonnes. So who's going to be quickest? Well, I can tell you. But so far, Janasia's had a crack. He's currently in fourth, 43.2 seconds, took it out of him. Oberst was next. He's currently third with 41.1 seconds. In second place so far, JF Caron from Canada managed it a 1/10 of a second faster. But it was Johan Els who did even better. 40.25 seconds. So he is currently in the lead. But booting up right now are other athletes.
Yes, the size 17s of Hafthor Bjornsson.
Classic thigh slap. She's not supposed to be doing that. Just a member of the public. So Brian Shaw then will want to catch up with Els. Els has been trailing. You can see his right arm is strapped up there. He's also had an injury, hasn't he, on his right foot?
That's right, yeah, just bus pulling a month ago back home, training this. Something went snap, so he was really worried about this event. And of course, it's an event he's brilliant at normally, and he had real problems with last year because of injury. Actually ruined his chances of winning the plane pull. But he's got this moving pretty well, actually.
Well, he really has. We're coming up to 20 seconds. It's past the 10-metre mark. 40.25 to beat.
Wow, he's really, truly shifting. 5 meters to go.
Well, there's going to be no problem here, I think. Looks like Brian Shaw will take the lead. And he does, 36.76 seconds.
Smoked it. Wow.
The new leader then in the bus pull.
Good reply to what happened in the overhead. Bjornsson took the lead from him overall, and now he's just laid this down. The others will be worried.
Belshak.
Representing Slovenia,
Shorter.
Mateusz Belshak.
Very powerful.
Gives away a lot of pounds to Brian Shaw. Definitely helps to be heavy, but look how much lower he is. A more efficient technique. Wait till you see Kieliszkowski. He's just dynamite at this.
It's those baby steps at first, leading him into his rhythm now. Getting up a good speed. 18 seconds gone past the 10-metre.
Well, he certainly looks a little bit quicker than Shaw, but it sometimes can be deceptive, depending on what size of step they take. But he's really going to push him here.
Well, he really is. It's going to be very, very tight indeed. Just slowing now. What? 36.75, beats him by 100th of a second, Colin.
Jeez, you've got to be kidding.
That's extraordinary. Oh, Brian, 100th of a second. You get the sense that Hafthor try not to smile. And Belshak now, the leader, when it comes to the bus ball.
So I was 76, 76, yeah. 1/100th of a second.
1/100th of a second. Just the smallest possible margin, but in the favour of Mr. Belshak, who's with Michelle now.
Real drama here. The competition is getting fierce. We've got Mateusz Belshak, an underdog with a big bite. That was absolutely amazing. You are currently in the lead now. How did you pull that through?
I mean, thank you, amazing. I just give my everything. I know I can do big points here. I've been beat Brian. That's been quite a good result already. There are still Hafthor and Kieliszkowski, one of the best pullers. But I hope I can stay top 3 and get 7 points on this.
Well, we'll be watching. That was seriously impressive. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Well, on to Kieliszkowski then. Expecting good things from him. Selfie time. You got it. Nice. And he'll want to get low. The lower he is, the more efficient that pull will be. And he's very low.
Yeah, big two-footed drive at the start. Took his time. Got the bus moving. That inertia at the start. It's key to really drive away with both legs. And look how low he is indeed, Danny. This is extraordinary. A little slip there, though. It is raining a bit.
That rhythm. Look at the rhythm, Colin. The rhythm and the breathing. I think he could do this.
Well, keep your eyes on that little white mark on the front of the bus. That's when the clock stops.
He's done it. 35.95 seconds. Brilliant for Kieliszkowski. You've got to feel for Belshak. It was the best in the world for about 2 minutes.
Well, will Big Thor beat that? Kieliszkowski was #1 last year in the grand final. And that was quite the performance. Look at the rain coming down.
Mateusz, you won in the plane pull last year. Did very well in the bus pull this year.
Yeah, I like this event. I practice this in home 2 times in a week. So my result must be good.
It was incredibly quick and you are against some really tough competitors.
Yes, but I little slippery and I lose a little control. It could be better, but I don't know, ground is very slippery.
Could have been better. It looked very good from where we were standing. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, representing the United States, Martin.
Well, don't forget this guy. Lissis. Just an extraordinary and exciting competitor. Got to get those little steps at the start, get the rhythm going.
Well, he's chucked a bit of chalk down on the floor. I'm not sure that's going to help. He's trying to overcome the problems of the rain. And she's still just holding off, just about.
35.95 to beat.
Staggering a little bit left and right. That's not good. His energy must be absolutely straightforward.
Get to 30 seconds. And he's going to struggle.
Oh, for one of the lighter athletes, it's still a tremendous pull, a credible pull.
Well, there you go, 38.95. Very good result.
Once again, give it up for Martin.
Not quite enough.
Well, we're getting used to each guy bettering the next, but you've got to remember he gives away 40 kilos to the likes of Hafthor Bjornsson, who's coming now, maybe 50 kilos. Exhausted at the end, wasn't he? Gave it everything. Who am I?
Well, Hafthor's portable fan club found their spot.
Iceland, Hafthor Julius Bjornsson.
I know we've gotten used to everyone bettering everyone else, but we've got to put some money on Hafthor.
Just look at the size of him. He's the only guy who makes the bus look not that big suddenly. He's huge. Mass pulls mass and all that. Well, that gives him some advantage to get it started anyway. And hey, he's keeping very low. It's just better technique than what he employed last year.
Well, absolutely. He seems to have learned from that. Very low, very fast, great rhythm.
He's just pulling a little bit offline, isn't he? He's leaning towards the left-hand side. He's got to straighten up.
Well, it's looking good. It's certainly going to be very, very tight indeed. Can he do it? Will he beat 35.95? No, a tenth of a second slower than Kieliszkowski. So Bjornsson, second place for the bus pull. And Kieliszkowski, I mean, it was a heck of a pull.
As he did last year, the winner.
Yes.
In the pull. Certainly proves it isn't just a big man's event, though. At 6'5" and 150 kilos, he's not small. But the true giants didn't get the victory.
Well, will we get a smile? That's what I want to know. Not really, but that doesn't mean he's not delighted.
Well, just like that, Kieliszkowski pulls himself into the title race. Only the slimmest of margins between him and Bjornsson, who can comfort himself with the side of Belshak beating Shaw to third by 1/100th of a second. Kieliszkowski now moves up to tie Brian Shaw for second place, while Hafthor extends his lead to 4.5 points. Lissis is still in touching distance of the podium, while Belshak moves up to fifth. With just 2 events left in this year's grand final, all eyes now are on that podium race. The next test awaiting our strongmen is the loading race, and that's coming up on World's Strongest Man. Welcome back, everybody. Event 5 this year is the loading race. It's what they call at the university a tough course with varying degrees of difficulty. Before we see who masters it, Eddie Hall, take us through what's involved.
Well, the weights are ranging from 105 to 150 kilo. We've got an anchor, an anvil, a barrel, a sack, and then wow, look at that safe.
All right, well, let's have a quick look at it, because this is 120 kilos. And, more importantly, it's absolutely blistering hot. It's sweltering conditions here in the Philippines. How much is this event then going to be to do with endurance of pain, and how much to do with explosive power?
Yeah, I mean, geez, you're going to be picking this up, you're going to be burning your hands, the humidity, they're going to be wet, they're going to be slipping. The guy that's going to win this is going to have the most explosive power, which, in my opinion, matches Kieliszkowski.
Kieliszkowski to take the event?
Yeah.
Interesting. He's currently tied for second place with Brian Shaw, behind Hafthor Bjornsson. Over to our commentators.
Well, thanks, James. So the loading race, we haven't really had a medley event like this in a while. And put simply, it's a load of heavy stuff. 75 seconds, 10 meters, and these 5 objects. Different techniques for carrying, and don't underestimate how hot it is as well. Those safes, not easy. Well, these guys all had a crack. Caron leads, 5 objects in 40.61 seconds. 6 athletes remaining.
Representing South Africa,
Johan. He did so well initially with the bus pull, gained a lot of confidence.
Representing the United States,
Up against Lissis, who has to do well here. This is his push for the podium.
Both of these men are so fast, it's hard to call this one. Perhaps else, longer legs, former rugby player, will be a little bit quicker, but then again, Lissis. Oh, slips.
A bit of a disaster there with the anvil. Needs to refocus, get that up onto the table.
Well, he's a full implement ahead here is Eltz. Very quick with that keg, but the sack And then this massive save for the hardest implements, but look at Elst.
Very easy as far as he's concerned. Well, Lissis gets the sack on there now, the safe.
I mean, that was just extraordinary what he did with that safe. Lids is just making it look like what it is. An incredibly awkward, very heavy weight.
Well, it's a safe, Colin. He's lifting a safe onto a table. A wonderful event for scavenger hunters. But look at this is lovely. Elst really has been encouraging Lissis all the way.
10 seconds.
One more crack, Lissis, come on.
5 seconds.
Well, I think he may be beaten. And he is. Well, he's going to be very, very disappointed with that.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again,
consoled by Magnus Ver Magnusson.
Well, Magnus knows how much he put into that.
Up for Johan Elst.
And you'd expect someone like Listis to win this kind of event. He didn't even finish it, but this guy, 34 seconds, Danny.
Well, he just made it look easy, didn't he? And poor Lissis will be very frustrated.
No. We have a new leader.
Just that mistake early on with the anvil.
And his chances of getting on the podium are looking pretty slim now. Remember, he was 4th at World's Strongest Man last year. So close, within touching distance. There's Marmonita just consoling.
Just wants to go to his room.
Number 1, representing Slovenia.
Onto Belzak then. Did so well in that bus pull. And he pulled ahead of Shaw by just
a 4-time
100th of a second.
Strongest Man champion.
Well, Shaw
Brian
is not going to take that line down. He's going to want to answer back.
Ready?
We start with the anchor.
Oh, with all the injuries that Shaw's carrying, this isn't the kind of event he'll enjoy. There's just so many things that can go wrong, so many different ways you have to lift stuff, but he's ahead of Belzak at the moment.
Well, each one requires a different tactic, different strategy, a bit of thought.
Yeah, well, Belzak's definitely the keg man.
Well, Belzak taking the lead.
Shaw, though, that big wingspan on these giant sacks.
Leaving Belzak behind now. Just the safe.
We saw with Elst the long arms help.
Can he get it? Onto the table, of course he can. Well done, both hands off.
He's booted it up with his knee, didn't he? Quite something.
And Belzak, hands off as well.
Give it up for Brian Shaw.
Power fist bump, felt across many continents. 43.34 then for Brian Shaw against, well, 52.56 for Belzak.
Yeah, Elst still comfortably in the lead. That's great, isn't he? He was 6 inches short and just hoofed it with his knee.
Ladies and gentlemen, in lane number 1.
Well, the last pair in this penultimate event, Kieliszkowski. Working on his crowd work.
Representing Iceland, Hafthor.
And this guy's been working on it for
Bjornsson.
much longer. Bjornsson.
Well, this for me is almost the final big hurdle. He's such a good stone lifter, Bjornsson. A good performance here. And he'll have 1 hand and 4 fingers on the trophy.
Well, Kieliszkowski's just got that speed, hasn't he?
He does. He's like a gazelle. I've said that before. He's the fastest in the world at loading. I mean, pretty much unbeaten in loading, but he's stride for stride here, Hafthor.
They really are. It's neck and neck. Up go the sets.
He's ahead.
Well, here we are. The safe. This is incredible. Wow. Both hands have to be off.
The coming of age. The Viking era looks like it's back again.
Well, what an incredible duel that was. 31.22 seconds, putting Bjornsson in first place in that event. A worthy rival in Kieliszkowski. Just stumbled at the end, 33.6. I mean, they were neck and neck for most of that, Colin.
And he's the greatest loader in the world for me, but he's just been beaten, so clearly he isn't. I think we're going to have a new world's strongest man. And I think it'll be an Icelander. Well, let's hear from Michelle and Hafthor now.
Another amazing performance. Can you almost taste the title?
Absolutely. I've come this so close now this year. 5.5 lead is a good lead, especially if you have a great event coming up for you. So I'm feeling very confident. Now I'm just going to go back in the tent, cool myself down and relax a bit, eat and come focused for the last event.
Sounds good. We'll see you at the Atlas Stones.
Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you, Thor.
The Icelandic giant collecting the maximum 10 points. Pushed all the way, though, by Kieliszkowski, who now looks his biggest rival this year. Brian Shaw indeed only 5th here, and the podium hopes of Martins Licis also being dealt a massive blow. With one event to go then, can Kieliszkowski hang on to 2nd spot? His margin just 3 points over Brian Shaw. Up top, a smile already on Bjornsson's face. It really looks like he has one mighty fist on the trophy. A happy Hafthor. So, after all the years, the blood, sweat and the tears, is the Mountain finally about to win his very own Game of Thrones? One event remains, and it is, of course, the Stones. And that's next on World's Strongest Man. Welcome back. Here among the splendour of the Philippines, we're all set for the grander sight of all, the winner of this year's World's Strongest Man. Just one event remains, and while Big Brian Shaw knows he needs a miracle, others, like young contenders Mateusz Kieliszkowski and Martins Licis, are battling for their place on the podium. The big question, though, is this man, 6-time bridesmaid Hafthor Bjornsson, about to become Iceland's latest world champion? For the final time this year, it's over to Colin and Danny.
Well, here we go. This is what it's all about. The marquee event, the Atlas Stones, in the final of World's Strongest Man. 5 stones, getting heavier and heavier, up to 210 kg. So far, Els is in the lead. He's managed 5 stones, all 5, in 41.44 seconds. So 4 athletes remain, 2 pairs, and up first, Brian Shaw. Well, he's been here a few times.
A 4-time world strongest
and he's won this several.
Brian Shaw.
And he's going up against, well, Licis, who has to put in the performance of a lifetime. Worth saying, in the Atlas Stones, he's always managed all 5 stones. That's just under a ton of stone.
Yes, it is. Well, Big Brian on the left, Licis on the right.
Oh, well, look at this. Licis already ahead of Shaw. Onto his 2nd stone, moving fast to the 3rd. Quick up off the ground.
He's such a fit athlete, Licis. Shaw, well, his chances of getting that 5th World's Strongest Man title are over. Is he about to lose his place on the podium to Licis?
Well, this is a good time so far from Licis. Struggling, though, on the heaviest stone.
210 kilos, it's 10 kg heavier than the massive one that we saw in the heats.
Can he do it? Come on, Licis. Oh,
what
struggling
an error.
now.
15 seconds.
He just went too early.
10 seconds.
Well, he's already taken 1 psychological hit. Both men now struggling. And that's that.
Time.
Well, extraordinary. First time Licis hasn't managed all 5.
We'll have to wait and go to the scoreboards as to who finishes where now.
Martins Licis.
Remember, we still have a pair to come, the big pair. It was an opportunity missed by Licis. Got it all the way up to the lip and then just let it slip down. As for Big Brian, his 5th title, it's not going to happen this year.
But it may well happen for this guy. Surely, barring disaster, is it his year? Hafthor Julius Bjornsson up against, well, the man trying to put the pressure on. Done so well. Kieliszkowski. The crowd really behind both of these guys. As Hafthor's dad. And look, we've done the maths. Here's how it works. If Bjornsson gets a 4th stone up, no matter what happens, he will be the world's strongest man.
No matter what speed, he's just got to get that fourth one on. And Kieliszkowski's made a bit of a meal of the first one. Because, of course, in that equation, he's got to come first on 5.
Well, a glance at Kieliszkowski. But this is it. Will Thor become the world's strongest man? It's all down to this stone.
He's taking his time. Does it go to Iceland again?
Well, he's done it. Hafthor Julius Bjornsson is the world's strongest man.
Respect from Kieliszkowski. Oh, they're going to go for 5. Good on him.
Why not? There's a crowd there.
Well, they're going to run out of time, but this is now for show. We know our gold and silver medalist.
And that one's for the crowd. A crowd that adores this guy, who've seen the work he's put in over the years.
We have a new champion.
And who deserves it.
2018 Sochi Palace World's Strongest Man, representing Iceland, Hafthor Julius Bjornsson.
Well, Iceland is back with a bang. The title returns. First time since 1996. Well, he's wanted this for years. Today, he's got it. Bjornsson is the world's strongest man.
Hafthor Julius Bjornsson, you are world's strongest man. How long have you been thinking of this moment?
This started as a dream. Standing here on top after 6 times placing podium, it's unbelievable. I'm absolutely thrilled. I'm so happy. All the hard work, dedication, you know, everything has paid off. I'm so happy. I had thoughts in my head, am I always gonna fail? You know, I pushed myself so hard, you know, I've cried so many times before I go to bed.
Your friends and family say that you've been almost crazy this year with your intensity, the way you've been working to try to get onto the top step.
Definitely, it's been very intense. My family and friends have inspired me a lot. Also last year inspired me as well. Placing second place last year, you know, gave me a fire inside me, so pushed me ahead. I was able to push myself even further. But also I wanna, you know, this, without my family and friends and fans, I couldn't do it without them. And my daughter, Teresa Liv, she is always here with me. This is for you, baby. I love you, Teresa Liv.
Hafthor Bjornsson taking the title by a mighty 6.5 points ahead of Kieliszkowski. Brian Shaw finishes 3rd. Lissis missing out on the podium again. Congratulations to all, but the biggest cheer for Iceland's first champion since 1996.
Eddie the Beast, world's strongest man, passes trophy to world's strongest man. From Britain to Iceland, what a journey that man's been through. Finally on top of the world. Congratulations, Hafthor.
Well, there you have it. History made once again here at World's Strongest Man. And as one athlete's long wait comes to its conclusion, so does our show. Already looking forward to seeing what happens next year. But for now, it's many thanks and congratulations to everyone who's involved. And from all of us here, it's goodbye.
Representing Iceland, Hafthor Julius Bjornsson.